You've been on the roller coaster. You've experienced the ups and downs. You've been in the fun house. You've experienced the distorted view of self. You've been on the floorless elevator, a system without a foundation. You've been on the Ferris wheel, understanding that life is full of cycles and we all have to take turns in this wheel of order. But we are told in this amusement park, even after playing all the games, even after riding all the rides, that we cannot leave. Even after participating in the water park, even after going through the cleansing and the resetting, we are told that we cannot leave this amusement park. Now, at this point, we have motion sickness. Our arms are full. We're tired. We're spent. We're exhausted. And we are told that we cannot leave. So as a collective, trained as a collective, brought together as a collective, programmed by being in line, programmed by waiting our turn, now that we have been initiated into a collectivized sense of self, we are told that we can't leave the park, and we are filled with apprehension, a little bit of fear, intimidation, a lot of mystery. So we approach the entrance the same way we came. Now we're headed toward the exit, which is the entrance. And we come to find that there are no armed guards present, nobody there to stop us. So the bravest amongst us steps forward. There's no laser fields, no electric fences, no armed gunmen waiting at towers. We're allowed to leave. This person steps into the gravel of the parking lot. And that sound of gravel under the feet was a sound that the collective thought they would never hear again, because they were told that they could not leave. And at the very least, for an unspecified time, they were told that they would stay in a world full of games. But now they find themselves in the parking lot, headed to their cars, still filled with apprehension, still have an increased heart rate. You can still hear your heart beating in your ears. You drive up to the front, the mouth of the driveway, and you drive off. The first person does it, the next person does it, eventually the whole group, and that parking lot is empty. Moments later, all the lights in that amusement park shut out. But we find out, once we all go home, that we never left the amusement park. And we find it out by the roller coasters that we are dealing with in life. When we go to the mailbox, we see a roller coaster of mail, ups and downs in the mail. Later on, the following day, we go to work, find out there's a roller coaster there. Find out that even though we have a desk job, even though we may be seated in an office, even though we may have our own office, somehow we can't get to the top, and it's not situated for us to own anything. So we find ourselves again on a floorless elevator, going up and down, but there's no real foundation there. And it turns to be that the places of employment are sometimes just startup, run-of-the-mill firms that are here today and going tomorrow. So we seem to be on a floorless elevator. We were told that we could not leave the amusement park, even though we left the place where the physical rides were. What we did not understand was, on the inside, there was a part of us that got left behind in the amusement park that never left. And whether we've been to an amusement park or not, we will be subject to distorted senses of self at times. People will perceive us differently than we perceive ourselves. And sometimes that can negatively influence us. And these things are considered a fun house. Things that on the outside of the amusement park can be anything but fun. And we would look at a person and attribute psychopathy to them if they saw the dysmorphia of a person's image to be something of fun, to be considered a house of games. There's nothing wrong with the amusement park as long as the amusement stays in the park with the rides. But once the idea of the rides mechanics switch over into the real world, switch over into the other side of the gravel lot, we get in trouble and we end up in a house of horrors instead of a house of fun. We end up in a park of pain instead of a park of amusement. We end up in a torture chamber instead of a bounce house. And no matter how hard we try, we find ourselves in a water park, always being washed out, things always coming awash. The other shoe seems to always fall because we were told that we would never leave the amusement park. We were told that we could not get out of the amusement park. We were either to leave there with a human to take home as a prize or become programmed by the rides. This is the amusement park. And the amusement park in and of itself is not designed to do that. It's just good old-fashioned fun and games in a place of repose, a place of active repose. That's what it really means. But if we're not careful, very dark and manipulative forces can use these things against us. And then we find out that the park we were in all our lives, that we were trying to laugh ourselves through the pain of, was in no way, shape, or form amusing.